Do you ever have one of those salvation moments? Those moments when you just pause and think, wow, that is amazing. Thank you. Everyone has them. Those times when it just seems like heaven and earth collide in a moment when your eyes are opened and you see things that have always been there, but you've just really noticed for the first time. Maybe it's looking into the eyes of a loved one or holding a child for the first time. Or, like you saw a minute ago, watching the flowers bloom here in Scotland this time of year. Just absolutely gorgeous. I call them salvation moments, and I had one last week. You see, I got my second jab last week, my second coronavirus vaccine, and I was talking to the nurse when she was getting the needle ready, and I said, "Isn't this amazing? It really is incredible. This is the first time in human history. I mean, it's miraculous enough to have a vaccine for a virus like this, but to have one right in the middle of a pandemic, it just blows your mind thinking about it. Definitely a salvation moment when you realize that we've been delivered from this thing. I mean, we're all complaining about the fact that lockdown's been extended just a little bit longer, but the fact of the matter is that without this vaccine, that we'd all be hiding under our beds and behind our curtains for goodness knows how much longer than we are. Those are moments of worship, and everyone has them when your eyes are suddenly open just to the wonder of what life is really like. Salvation moments. Now, I'm grateful for the vaccine, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that there's a lot of people in the world who don't have a vaccine and may not get one for a very long time. And the more I thought about how grateful I was for the vaccine that I had, the more I thought about those people who are kind of stuck without one. So I'm really grateful to the moderator of the General Assembly who's made an arrangement with Christian Aid to stimulate the distribution of these vaccines. And they're doing two things. The first is that they're advocating with our government to try to encourage our government to be more generous when it comes to the distribution of vaccines, to sharing what we have. But they're also already there, so to speak, on the ground, helping people who are living with the threat of this coronavirus and who really don't have any way around it, providing PPE and providing health care and working alongside people who are in those different countries and are in a state of need. And let's face it, friends, we have more than we need here, and there's no reason why we can't share a little bit of what God has given to us. I want to close with a passage of scripture that talks about those salvation moments, because when we stop and go, wow, thank you, that's a great start when it comes to worship, but what follows after that? What comes next? Well, this prayer from Psalm 54, I'll just pull it out here and read it to you. Well, this prayer from Psalm 54 was written by someone who was being pursued by their enemies, and they had been in trouble for a good long time, and they prayed to God for deliverance, and in whatever form that deliverance finally came. And so he was having one of those, wow, thank you moments. And he wrote these words. This is the next step after wow. It says, "I will sacrifice a free will offering to you. I will praise your name, Lord, for it is good, for you have delivered me from all my troubles, and my eyes have looked in triumph on my foes." I will sacrifice a free will offering to you. Now, what that meant was an offering, a gift to God that goes above and beyond the normal required sacrifices. A free will offering is when you're so wowed by what's happened to you that you just open your wallet and say, take whatever you like, because you realize that money really, in the end of the day, has no significance whatsoever. I will sacrifice a free will offering. That's what follows on after wow, thank you. So if you've had one vaccine or two and are feeling a bit more confident about facing the coronavirus, then then take a moment and reflect on that passage there where this fellow had been saved from his enemies and said, I will sacrifice a free will offering to you. And thinking about making a gift to Christian Aid or another aid organization that you may support. And let's see if we can't beat this coronavirus, not only here in Britain, but around the world. We'll give a free will offering to God. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.